What's up everybody, Ramey here, and today in this video I'm going to review the Freak Athlete Hyper Pro with the attachments that come with it. This is something that I got not too long ago, and I've been spending time using it for every workout that I possibly could to see what I like, what I don't like, and if I tell you to get it now that I have it. I am definitely not sponsored by Freak Athlete. They didn't give me this for free. I paid for this with my own money. I know this is one of those products that's kind of been like really hyped and really advertised, like harder than any other gym product I've ever seen. It's one of the reasons I wanted to do a video on it and just kind of talk through like what I like and what I don't like, and if you should buy this thing and replace like some of the things you have, like a GHD or whatever, with it. Let's kind of go through, I want to talk about the product itself, and then I'm going to go through some of the main exercises it does, and then give you kind of my overall summary. So to start, yes, I did pay for this. The machine, for those that don't know what the Freak Athlete is, it is a 6-in-1 or 7-in-1 or 9-in-1 or 200-in-1 machine, depending on which ad from Freak Athlete you get that day, because they all seem to say, every time I see an ad, like the amount of exercises it does seems to go up. In general, it's a machine that is designed to replace things like Nordic, curls, hyperextensions, GHRs, and things like that, like an decline ab and stuff like that. Those are the main things that this machine does. On their website, they show things like you can sit on it and like do like rotator cuff exercise and like all kinds of stuff, because yes, it is a bench, so there's a bazillion things to do with it. Product itself is with all the attachments, because really when you buy this, you're going to buy it with all the attachments. It's not really worth to buy by itself. I don't even know what the actual price of just the unit itself is. With all the attachments, it's kind of pricey. I spent around $1,400 something, I think, with everything, with taxes and shipping. Shipping's $100 for this. It's like 90 some dollars for shipping, and then that's what taxes were too. So total was like 14 something. So it's kind of it's pricey for a home gym person. Like that's a lot. And I want to at the end talk about like if I think it's worth the price and talk more about that price point. I want to leave that off for now and just tell you kind of the total. Overall, when I got the machine to build it, they give you, so it's all, you do it by video, so they give you like a link for a video inside the box. Actually really nice. Do I have that card? I don't know, I must have tossed it. They give you a little like card that has a QR code. You scan it and it guides you through step by step how to build it. The thing comes in a million pieces. It really does come in a million. It's packaged really well, but it comes in a million pieces. But their videos are actually really good. They did a good job of explaining how you build this thing. So the unit itself took me about an hour to build things. I'm pretty handy. It took me an hour, solid hour, but that's fine. Like as long as it's good, like I don't mind spending even a couple hours building something. But it took me about an hour. The leg curl extension and GHD pads each took me 10 to 20 minutes. They were pretty quick. And I did it in 3 separate, like I built this and then like the next day I built the other things, or later that day or whatever, built the other things. But really not bad to build it, and it was actually really simple and easy to build. It just took about an hour. So it's packaged very well, like every step is labeled like step 1, here are the screws you need for step 1, here are the screws you need for step 2. It comes with the wrenches that you need for the product, but I use my own, they're way better. They actually recommend you use your own too. As you can see, you know, they market this product as like a 9-in-1 or whatever they happen to say that day. Let's just say a 200-in-1 product that does a million different things. You can see the product itself, and I'll get to the GHD pads and leg curl, where let's just stick to the product for now. Let me show you the product stuff. Product itself, so the first thing that I noticed about this product, and well, let me just, so like space-wise, you can see that this product does stand up. When I stand up, you can't even see. This thing stands up in a 2x2 area, and I'll talk about the space of the leg curl and GHD pads But this is a space saver. This machine is a space saver. I mean, I got a GHD right now in a 2x2 area. A GHD that's also a hyperextension. That also I can use to do hip thrusts. That also I can do decline abs. In literally a 2x2 section, I can do all that, which is pretty cool. And it stands up really well, really easy. You can see it's got legs here. I mean, it's solid. It's not moving when I'm standing it up. All right, so the first thing, let me put the product down. So it's got wheels on it, so you can move it around. Moves very easily, sets down really easily. This is as low as the unit goes, so right now I'm on like the lowest part. I don't have the pad in at all right now. There we go. Okay, so the first thing that I kind of noticed about the unit is like the construction of it. Like, is it well constructed? Like, what does this thing feel like? Because I saw like a couple reviews and some people were like, I really wish there was a premium version. And so I really took some time to like feel like the sturdiness throughout each exercise and like, do I feel safe? I'm a big like safety person. I don't want to talk about stuff I improved yet, so I'll hold off a little bit on that. But overall, my overall like thoughts on the build. So first of all, let's start with the weld quality. I would say that the welds, there are no issues with any of the welds. The welds were all very good. Let me put some pictures up of the welds. Some of the welds were like what you'd expect from like Rogue or higher end companies. And some of the welds were what like you'd see on like Titan, Amazon products. Kind of a mixed bag, but all the welds were safe and fine. No issues with any of the welds. Just some of them were done really well and some were more like blobs. So good and all quality welds, so no issues there. One of the things I heard from people in other reviews was I really wish they built a premium product. So I honestly, when I first got this, I was kind of expecting it to feel kind of like janky, like junky, like very like Amazon-like. I was surprised I actually didn't feel like that at all. I felt like this was like a product like made by like Rep or any other company that's like very solid piece of gym equipment. It felt just as solid as like my Rep benches that I've had or like anything else, any product I've used by Rep. Like it was a solid piece. Like that was my first surprise. First of all, it like feels like when I pick it up, like it feels heavier. It feels like a really solid machine. So like that was one of the first things that surprised me is that it was actually very solid to carry and pick up. I kind of expected it to feel junky and cheap. It doesn't feel junky and cheap. It actually feels pretty darn good, pretty solid. So I was surprised by that. The pads themselves, some of the pads like come off. Let me take it off here. Let's talk about the padding. So the pads are very smooth. Nice smooth pads. I personally really like Rep Fitness bench pads, the new pads from Rep Fitness. I'm a really big fan of them. I did reach out to the company, so let me talk about this too, as I talk about the pads. So I did reach out to the company on Reddit when I posted like a mini review for them of some of the stuff on one of their posts, not like privately. And I sent them I said randomly before I even purchased the product, I sent them a question on Facebook about something. And first of all, they responded to me on the Facebook Messenger. I don't know if it was the owner who responded or who responded from their company. They responded to me like within like, I want to say like minutes. And not only did they respond, I was like asking them about like building it, like what tools, like something like that. They not only responded back to me like quick, but like the dude gave me his cell phone number. He was like, if you have problems building it or you have any concerns, here is my cell phone. Like that's pretty cool. So I want to say like their customer service, my limited interactions with them, they're kind of like all over the place. Like this company is all over social media, like good. Like they're really on top of that side of things. So like it made me comfortable that like they did care about like some random person building like their thing. Because I did reach out to them about the pads, and I was like, because I posted on one of their posts on Reddit, I was like, here's like some of my initial thoughts like after unboxing. And one of them was like, I wish the pads were more like Reps bench pads, because I really like the material. And they did say that when they had users test this for Nordic curls, they actually much preferred these smooth ones. So pretty fair assessment. I don't do Nordic curls personally because I have bad knees. I'll talk about that when I review it, because I did some just for the product review. But I personally, I've got bursitis from years and years of jiu-jitsu. My knees, it's just something that I much prefer GHRs to Nordic curls for that, just because of my knees. But he did say that users preferred the flat pads, the smooth pads for GHR or for Nordics. That makes sense. Like I get that those pads could actually, like I'm pointing to my bench, my rep bench over here, could potentially, feel better on your knees. So that made sense. So good explanation. That's why they chose the smooth pads. The smooth pads are fine. I mean, I really like Reps pads. What I did do is I did measure this pad, the thickness of these pads versus Reps bench pads. And what I did notice is these pads are about 1/3 of an inch thinner than Reps bench pads. So compared to Reps, like if you have a Rep bench, for those of you that have a Rep bench, they're the common benches that everyone has. I don't have my tape measure on me right now, but just to give you an idea, looking with a pen, here was the size of Reps benches. This is just a standard marker. Compared to the Freak Athlete pad. So here's Reps bench pad. The Freak Athlete pad is about that, almost like a finger less of width. So about 1/3 of an inch less thickness. So that was one area that I do think I guess I can talk about some of the improvements as I talk through them. I do think as they improve this product, like I personally don't think the product itself, the frame needs to be improved, but like I don't think they ever need to offer a premium version. I actually was really happy with most of the stuff. I do think they could offer premium pads for sale, like increase the thickness of this. Like me doing Nordic curls and it hurts my knees, like totally a thicker pad could help me do that. Okay, let's talk about the stuff the product does. That's like my review of like construction, overall construction. And now let's get to the product itself so I can talk about like the intricacies of everything. Okay, so the first thing, the product, there's basically two main pulleys. It's got pulleys. This uses pop pins. So to adjust everything, you use pop pins. It's pop pins, pop pins, pop pins. There's like, it looks really confusing at first. The first time you use it, you're gonna be like, oh my God, this seems like a nightmare. There's way too much going on. It's really not. It's actually pretty quick. It took me about not even a day. It took me just like using it like 3 times to be like, oh, okay, it makes sense how they did it. Like actually the product itself is engineered, like the idea is engineered really super well. The way it works just like makes sense. Like it really does. And so you're gonna figure it out pretty quick. But one of the things I also figured out pretty quick is you gotta check that things are locked and tight all the time, because sometimes they weren't for me and like I slipped out a few things. So let's kind of talk about that. So the first thing, like this is the lowest it goes. So this is like where you start. There are all these pop pins in here. As I said, there are pop pins. So the first thing we're gonna start with is Nordic curls, which I can't do because I have really, really bad knees. But for the Nordic curls, this is literally, so this comes out and in super easily. Everything comes in and out really like, it's all like connected. There's like all these connection points. You can see from me tightening it, like it is hitting the metal here, like scraping some paint off, but that stuff you don't see. Super easy to work with. But the setup for Nordic curls, that's kind of like their main like thing. Like that's what it does. It's set up for Nordic curls. It's got the foot pad to hold your feet. The foot pad itself comes in and out. So it doesn't go this way at all. It just goes, this piece just goes up and down, which you can take off. One thing I did notice right away is that the back pad right here is completely straight. So if you prefer like an angled one, there's no way to change that. I do actually think the other thing is you can't change the distance that this is from your feet. If there was one thing I would improve on a next version of this, it would be, and they could actually do this on this unit, just because this back piece, the way it bolts in, just give an option for one that like turns and moves back and forward. They could very easily come up with like a separate one of these that you could sell. You can see this back pad does have like some grips on it, which I'll talk about when we go through and actually use exercises with it. But let me just get this kind of on here. There we go. And then you can get in, do Nordics, which I can't do because they kill. You can see like my feet kind of like squeeze in here pretty good. One of the things like I was concerned about was like stability. Like you can see me rocking right here. A lot of that stability, that like rocking, goes away if you actually tighten everything here. Like you'll tighten everything and be like, oh my gosh, 98% of that rocking just went away and it's super stable. So that was like one of my big concerns when I got the product, was like, what's going to happen with the rocking? Because that's something that bothers me. So for Nordics, obviously we have a Nordic bench. I'm not going down because I'm not going to have swelling knees all freaking day. It's Super Bowl Sunday. I'm not going to have we're going to a party later. I'm not going to have swollen knees all day because I did some Nordic curls for you guys. But it does do Nordic curls. I did say I wish the pad was as thick as the reps. It does feel, the pad does feel good on my knees. It does not feel bad. I know there's thicker ones out there, and for Nordic curls, I love thicker. One of the cool things about this is it does, let me pull this up, so it clicks, it does do progression. So you can do progressions with Nordic curls, but one thing I will point, oh, you know what, let me tighten. I always want to tighten so I'm not like falling on my face. One of the things I noticed is this is as low as you can go until flat, so this is 20 degrees. So when you're doing the progressions of Nordic curls, you can't like go any down further than this. It goes from 0 to 20, basically. And now I can go up. So it goes from 0 to 20, then 25, then 30. So it goes from 0 to 20. It's not like I can't do like 0, 5, 10, 15. It starts at 20 degrees, just kind of letting you know that. That's not a huge deal or anything, but like, just letting you know as you talk about progressions, like that's what the progression is. The unit is all pop pins. If you watch my video on rep benches, I freaking hate pop pins more than anything. I hate them because I feel like they're just gonna break on me or I'm gonna mess it up. I asked in my Reddit post to the company, I said, would you guys ever consider making a unit using ladder systems? I go, I can improve it, I'd make it ladder. They said we thought about it, and one of the issues we had is that when people were doing certain things like hyperextensions or GHRs, you're kind of like rocking, you know, you kind of like, you're really putting a lot of pressure on the unit, and they're like, we're really afraid it would slip out. They think it's a liability issue, and yeah, I kind of see it. I mean, it could. Like, I'm on bench with ladder, I'm just pretty, you know, stable. I'm not like rocking it a lot. I could see that. So I think that maybe the pop pins actually make sense for this product. You know, they had a good explanation right away. Like, they were like, oh yeah, that we did think of, like, they told me they thought about it already. It wasn't like I was like, oh, I brought some like new grand idea to them. They were like, oh yeah, we already thought about that. Here's why we can't do that. Makes total sense. Like, and the thing about their pop pins, so they go in and out, and you don't technically have to turn them, but man, I'm turning them. Because turning them, you hear it pop, you turn them to lock it in, and then you can't pull it out, just to be safe. I'm a big fan of safety with something like this. So yeah, so that's Nordic curls, super easy to do. You know, while the bench is up, I can show you the pad for, what's it called? Hip thrusts. While the bench is up, bench is up. So one of the interesting things is all the different things, and I'm just gonna change this right in the video, like y'all can see me do it, like in 1 second. It's easy to do. All I'm doing is pulling out a pin, putting the pin back in, and throwing the hip thrust pad on. That's it. Hip thrusts. Nice little, this is actually pretty nice. I mean, you can look, you can do hip thrusts on a barbell. Anyone can do these on a barbell in their rack. You just need 2 barbells, one to lay your back on, one to do the hip thrust. So it's one of those moves that it's simple to do without like a unit, but heck, they had the space and they took advantage of it and actually put a freaking hip thrust there. Like I think it's really cool. Like I have a roller, I got other stuff to do them, but like I'm not complaining that they just put that on there. Now if they're charging an extra $100 because they put that on there, I'd be like, come on, I can do this at home. But like it's just on the unit, super easy to set up. Like it's already set up. So like that's kind of cool. Right? Like they just like kind of put stuff on there. All right, next exercise. Let's see, bench is up like this. We can pull the bench up to do, let's see. There we go. So the bench does come up to this flat level. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not actually using it at the flat level at all. I've been doing all my like GHRs and stuff on the floor, which is kind of awesome to do. But it does come up to this flat level. Let's actually go, since we're set up like this, to hyperextension, or yeah, 45 degree. We're at 35 degree right now. That's good. Hyperextensions. Let me make sure that it's down. A few times there's a like locking pin back here. I'll unlock it. It wasn't down. I got on to do hyperextensions and whoa, the whole unit fell forward. So you kind of have to get used to always checking that things are correct. All right, so to do hyperextensions, simply going to take this pad off. And that's it. I'm going to adjust. Gotta remember where I am. I think I'm at like a 5. Gotta put my thing back on here. So one of the things you kind of like learn how to adjust. It's really easy. I'm telling you, it takes, like I just did that in a second. Get on for hyperextensions. I'm gonna tighten this up a little bit, like real nice. It's got handles here. The handles aren't super long. They're literally just like, they're long enough for my hand. I do wish they were like, you know, out another 6 inches, but they're not. Normally on a hyperextension or GHG, the handles are pretty far out, but there are handles here. You can actually adjust the pads to go further or closer. Mine are as far away as possible for demand reasons. And you can do hyperextensions. I feel good here. I don't feel, make sure, there we go. I'm always like double and triple checking stuff. Feel good. I feel like any other hyperextension machine that I've ever done. Feels actually really good. No issues with hyperextensions. Super easy to set up. Feels good. I've done hyperextensions on probably 50 different hyperextension benches in my lifetime. So like, they're not a new thing for me. I'm telling you that it feels the same or as good as anywhere else, anything else I've done, any other hyperextensions I've done. Let's see, the only other thing I probably want to show you on the bench itself before I get into the attachments, I guess, see, we did Nordics. Yeah, I mean, we're doing all the basic stuff. That's like, what I want to show y'all is the decline sit-ups. Now obviously you can do GHD sit-ups if you get the GHD thing. I'm not going to lock that in, it's okay there like that. All that I wanted to really show you here on the sit-ups, let me first of all make sure that things are locked. All that I really wanted to show you on the sit-ups here is this, because I think it's kind of cool. Right here, the grip. So the grip on the plate, the places to grip are so nice on sit-ups. I can get in, hold the grip so I don't fall like I just did, do my sit-ups, and when I'm done, grab, get out. Now obviously you gotta be able to touch your toes. If you can't touch your toes, you should be doing some stretches to touch your toes. So, but it does it, and that's super cool. Those are the main things that the bench unit does. I'm probably missing like some exercise, but those are the main things it does. One of the things that I did notice, let me actually pull this up a little bit to talk about this one issue here, that I did see other people bring up, is that when they tighten this a lot, but when you tighten this pad right here, it's sort of, let me pull it out and show you guys. So, when you tighten this pad on the bench, it's sort of the tighten area is just this side right here. It sort of will turn. I'm way over exaggerating what it does. It sort of turns just slightly like that. Like it's like the slightest, you can't even hardly see it. You have to be able to feel it. Like I couldn't even take a picture, you couldn't see it at all. But it just turns a little bit. The solution for it is you just don't tighten it all. That's all. You literally just, like you can feel it as I'm turning it. All of a sudden, like I hit the thing. If I continue to tighten, it's going to do it. But if I don't, and it's stable, it's fine. Like there's nothing like is going to happen to me. This is in. You don't need to tighten. You don't need to tighten this at all. But if you do, and you get really, really tight, where it's not coming up, it does, there is just a little bit of that turning. So anyway, all right, those are the main things. Now what I want to do is I want to get to the attachments. So the first attachment we're going to get to, I guess, is going to be, let me just make sure I'm all set up here so that nothing's going to embarrassingly fall as I'm sitting. First attachment I want to show you guys is the leg curl leg extension. I've already done a video where I've shown the leg curl leg extension, how it worked. I'll show you the size. Oh, it's going to kind of fall down a little bit. Let me show you the size compared to the bells of steel, so you can get a reference. So here's the bells of steel one. And here is this one. Similar size. This one's a little bigger because it's the freak athlete one's a little bigger because it's a attachment. This is more just like goes on the floor. So this one's a little bigger. But you can see like the pads on the freak athlete one are quite nicer, a lot thicker, nicer pads. So that's kind of like a big difference between the two, the bells of steel one that I've been making videos on and this one. Pull this thing out of the way and let me show it to you. So super easy to connect. It actually just takes a second. I think I did a video on this, so I am already connecting this to my cables, which if you're not sure, the company itself is actually coming out with a cable option that they're going to be releasing. I think they said around May. The cable option for this, they had it on pre-sale for $75, so I think it's going to be $100 for people to buy. I would totally recommend you buy it. So this is already set up, and there's like a middle thing here I can do, but you don't even need to. I did a video where I connected this to cables already, so if you're not connecting this to cables, it's a leg curl extension. This piece actually comes off. For leg extensions, I just haven't pulled it off ever yet. So for leg extensions, this piece does come off. You don't need to take it off. I guess it could hit you, but you should be back anyway. So, you know, we got leg extensions. The rollers themselves on both of these bars are adjustable, so you can adjust them to your height. But it is a plate-loaded leg extension leg curl, which plate-loaded is never going to be good. It will always be plate-loaded, so it'll always just be okay. Like, do I think that the plate-loaded version of this is any better than the plate-loaded version of the Bells of Steel or other ones that I've used? Nah, they all kind of aren't great. Problem with all the plate-loaded ones is there's always an issue with tension not being 100% or even close to 100% throughout the movement. So yeah, so that's kind of annoying. One of the cool things this does come with are little handles here. Let me show you all the little handles. So these little handles are actually a nice little feature. What's cool? It literally takes 1 second to put these puppies in. You just slide them right in here. Boom, boom. And I got 2 little handles. Because when I do leg extensions, I like to be back. I guess they're not really comfortable all the way back. But I love being back for leg extensions. And these handles are really nice. Literally 1 second. It was like, you know, when I first got this unit, I was like, why are there these holes? Like, why wouldn't they have covered these on the regular unit? As soon as I saw these and I was like, oh, these slide right in. I was like, dude, that's brilliant. Like, that's pretty cool. In and out in 1 second. Huh, that's one of those like nice little features that you're just like, well, that's kind of cool they thought of that. Okay. Leg curl, same thing, super easy to set up. You can do your leg curl just like this. Or you can adjust. So to adjust, they recommend that you adjust because, you know, most leg curl machines are down a little bit. So we adjust down and we got leg curl, which we can hold on. You actually probably want to get rid of this because it's hitting my face. And boom, we got a leg curl. So super easy to set up the leg curl and extension. The leg curl and extension with this unit, I believe with the discount, is like $270. By itself, it's like $350. That's about what the Gear for Fit bench attached one costs. So on par with other options. The Bells of Steel one was like $150 or something like that. So that's significantly cheaper, the Bells of Steel option. As I showed in my other video, this does connect to cables. So yeah, it does connect to cables. I did order the upper body kit, just kind of for fun. Basically, you're paying $30 for these handles, which they're actually pretty nice. I might throw these up on my Titan pulley because they're pretty well. These are like solid. These are really nice handles. For a little bolt that's right here, so that you can do exercises, which is kind of funny. Honestly, I think most of you in home gyms will never, ever, 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 ever use this for anything. Once they get the cable attachment here, this becomes a lot more useful for people. But right now, as is, you're not using this for anything. I mean, you're just not using it. I guess it's, am I glad they have it? I think it should just be included in the price. Am I glad they have it? Yeah, I mean, it's nice. I guess it's like, it's cool they like thought of some things. Like, it's cool they just like, were like, you know what? We can make this an extra thing by adding a little bolt here and making an upper body kit. Like, that's cool. Once the cable's attached to this, it's going to be a lot more different because it's going to be constant tension. So there's going to be some exercises that maybe you will do with this. Overall, for most of us in home gyms, I think this is not a feature you care about or need. I don't even really know why I got it. I just wanted to review the whole product. I kind of knew that it wasn't going to do that well, and I didn't really care about this feature, but It is what it is. It's not a replacement. They say it replaces like a Titan pulley, like I literally have it. It doesn't replace that at all. I don't know where they're getting that from. It doesn't really replace anything. If you're a home person, I guess the idea is like for someone in an apartment, this is all they're buying. If someone's in an apartment, the first piece of equipment I'm going to tell them to buy is dumbbells. Like, there's going to be 5 other things I'm going to tell them to buy before they buy something like this. So like, I don't see a reason for someone to really ever have to use that, but it is what it is. They have it, it's cool. Super easy to take this on and off. I mean, it really is. And you can see, like, I'll show you all the pads. Like, these are nice thick pads here. If you want to know how to connect it to cables, watch my video. Nice thick pads. As I said, you can adjust like the height of the leg extension and leg curl pads, like completely adjustable how they fit onto the unit for your size. Now, me using this, I am, how tall am I? I'm like about 6 feet, like 5'11" and a half. So this unit, this whole thing fits me perfectly. Does it fit like, I saw someone post on Reddit that they were like 4'9" and they couldn't do certain exercises. It's not made for someone 4'9", but they were just talking about like their experience. I'd imagine if you're like a 6'6" dude, it says it works for people that are tall, but you might have some issues. And anyway, I want to talk about those issues with height and weight as we get to the GHD pads, which will also include my review of the reverse hyper. All right, so GHD pads, super easy to set up. Let's take a look at them. Let me show you the pads. Let me show you the pads compared to, say, like the pads that Rep uses. All right. So here are the GHD pads. Here is an actual GHD pad. So you can see the shape is pretty similar. So here's the GHD setup. Here is a pad for a Rep GHD. So you can see they're pretty similar. The Rep GHD pad's a little bigger, but that's just width. Maybe ½ inch in height bigger, but basically the same shape. All right, set this up on the GHD. It's actually very easy. All you do is literally lock it in. It's locked, there we go. Turn it, locked. All right, now I just want to flatten this unit out. I can pull it up to do GHDs like this. If you want it high when you're going to do your GHDs, whenever you're going to do abs or anything, it does come with a stand right here, which is actually pretty cool. The stand itself is not bad. I was surprised, like it does come with a little stand. All right, so it does have a stand. The stand is magnetic, but what I really like about this is you can do your GHRs. This is probably my favorite feature of this whole entire unit versus a GHD. And I'll tell you why. For those of you that do GHRs, man, they get a little scary when you're up high, especially when you're really tired. I got a couple of buddies that try to do them, and they're just like, oh, I don't like being up there on my GHD. They're too high up. Dude, you can do these on the floor. I mean, I'm 1 foot off the floor, but like, I can do them on the floor. I can literally do GHDs on the floor, which is just like awesome, like amazing for me. Oh, I gotta remember what my setting is here. I totally do not remember. So, GHRs, let me tighten this up because this is not stable and I want it to be stable. Because stable bothers me a lot in GHR. So a few things about the GHD. So is this as good as a GHD? So A, yes, oh. You know what, I'm gonna keep that in this video because I'm messing around right now, but you know what just happened? So I didn't have the back locked. I have done that like 10 times since I got this unit. Where the back, oh, now it's locked. Wasn't locked. So there's a little piece in the back here, a little knob, and it's got to be pushed in. where you go forward. I have done that with hyperextensions. I have done that with decline sit-ups, and I've done it with GHRs. Anyway, not a big deal. It's not like no pin fell or anything, but it's a safety mechanism that keeps this back piece locked, and it wasn't. It's not like the pop pin fell somewhere, but you can see that that stuff does happen with this, and it's like you gotta like get your, like you gotta be careful like doing stuff. So I'm very, very, very tired right now from actually doing these a day and a half ago. But you can see it does it very well. Now, a few caveats with this, the GHG machine. So first of all, I do wish the pad was shaped like the rep bench and rep GHG pad. Not shaped, I mean the material, because I do like that material for GHGs. But you know what, every GHG I use, the Rogue, whatever's just randomly in my gym is random. And it's always fine, it doesn't matter. So it's fine, I would prefer that. Another thing that I noticed about GHGs, one of the first things I noticed with this unit, with the GHG, this foot pad, I have it at the highest level it goes, this is rest, and I wish that it was higher, actually. So I think if you're a really big dude, I think GHRs on this, you're gonna feel like, or I guess if you have long legs, the back pad almost like isn't high enough compared to a GHG to do like, I have it on the highest setting and it works and it's fine, but like, it could be another like inch higher would be more comfortable for me. It's just like more like a comfort thing. Like I wish it was a little higher. So like one of the disadvantages of this unit is since it was made for Nordic curls, GHGs, while they were made for this, the Pro version, it's not like what the unit was designed for. So like it was made with the feet in a good position for Nordic curls, but like this doesn't really go up. It goes up, but like it doesn't go up super high. So like this is the highest setting. It just feels good because when I first got on here, it was like after testing the Nordic curls, and it was like, it felt really weird. The GHR felt super weird. I was like, what the heck? Like, this does not feel right. So I had to move, and it was just the moving this up. But I do think like it's got to be moved up. Just like Nordic curls on this, and obviously you can do extensions from right here, and you know, I can almost do extensions like at this level, which is kind of funny. Like I have extended, but like without even lifting the unit up. And you can do GHG abs. I actually do my GHG abs like this. I do not go all the way down to GHG abs. I stop at 180 from when I do GHG abs. So yeah, so that's GHG abs. The other thing I wanted to show is, that's cool about this, is the progression for GHGs. So, now, just like the Nordic curl, the progression starts at 20 degrees. But this is pretty cool, like, if you're tired, I do GHRs after my workout on leg days. And I'm usually pretty tired, so maybe this is like something I want to start, is like the progression. Because I can only do like 5 to 8 GHRs. I do 2 sets, I do like 5 to 8, and I'm toast. I feel like my thighs are gonna rip apart. So, yeah, there's that. But there is the progression. It just starts at 20 degrees. So it's like 0 to 20, and then 25, 30, 30, you know. So, but it starts there. So, the other thing that they say this unit does, now I'm gonna unclick this back thing that fell on me. Let's lift this up. All right, set up. All right, so one of the things that they say this unit does is reverse hyper. It just doesn't do it. I mean, come on. To say that this does reverse hyper is like my GHG doing reverse hyper or anything else in the world. It doesn't. I could say a table does reverse hypers. I can do reverse hypers with no weight on my rack with a barbell by just leaning on it. So like, you could technically just say anything does reverse. I mean, just doing this is not a reverse hyper. Reverse hyper has weight to it. This doesn't use weight. So I wouldn't even consider this reverse hyper. Just doesn't do it. I wouldn't consider this as doing reverse hypers. So, having said that, you saw all the stuff about the unit. I talked about the construction, talked about the price. I talked about, you got to check the safety pins, like you even saw me mess up a little bit. I talked about the pads. I talked about all the different exercises for the most part. I mean, it probably does more. I just haven't, I'm thinking of it right this second. I talked about the stability. So like all the big things. So who is this for? This is for the person who wants some variation in their leg workouts, especially their posterior chain and core, and wants to save space by not buying things like a GHD, a leg curl, leg extension, and hyperextension, and Nordic bench. It's for the person that wants to save space with those things. Because you don't really save money. I think this unit is pretty expensive. It's like I added it up, and as much as those 4 machines are, it's about the same cost of them for similar quality. Like if I was comparing, like yes, I could find a Sorinex machine that is just their GHD is more than this whole unit, but like that's not what we're comparing this to. We're comparing this to like a similar, which would be like the Rep GHD that's $480. A Nordic curl on Amazon that's like $200. A leg curl, leg extension like Gear for Fit, which is like $300. So when we start comparing it to stuff like that, that's more similar quality-wise, price-wise, the price is pretty dead even. But I don't think those machines are better. I think they're similar quality. So like, I don't think there's an advantage to having these all separate. This is kind of like similar to like Rep Aries. Like, it's designed to save space. If you can afford, if you want to buy a functional trainer separate, some really good wide thing, then yeah, do that. But like, there's a reason us in home gyms want to save space, and this meets that need. This is a space saver. So if you think you want a GHD plus a 45-degree hyperextension plus a Nordic bench, you're probably way better off getting this, and it has the leg curl extension with the cable thing. You're probably better off getting this than buying those things separate, because it's super easy to adjust. It really is easy to adjust. It's a solid, I'm telling you, it feels solid. Like, I didn't understand the premium suggestion by some, I just saw people suggest it like in reviews, and I don't understand it because it feels pretty premium to me. Like I don't get it. Like it feels solid, like it's good. The only like downfalls, I do wish this padding, I wish the padding of the main pad was a little thicker, like the Rep benches. I wish the padding of the GHR was different, like just the material, but that's a minor thing. I do wish the height for GHRs, it went up higher. An option would be for this back pad to be able to bend and move as you want to. I think would be good. You really gotta learn, I gotta get used to this purple connector in the back because I missed it like 20 times now, as you even saw in my video. Like I missed it. I keep doing that. These handles could be extended a little bit, but that's it. I mean, it's very, when you see this in person and feel it, you're like, this is very well engineered. Like they really tested this a lot. Like it's very well engineered. It's very solid. Like I was very concerned about wobble and being able to use it. Now, you know, the max limit of this thing is 500 pounds. Would I trust this with like 300? Would I trust this with 225 on my back for hyperextensions? Probably not. Would I trust it with 135? I guess I trust it with that. I just get real weary as I start getting up there in those numbers close to that max limit on how well this is going to hold, because it's all held by pop pins. You got to really make sure you lock them in and do it all right. You got to make it habit just to turn, open, turn. So do I recommend it? I think for home gyms, it's one of those things. If you want to do those exercises, I think this is a cool piece. Don't plan on this replacing your reverse hyper. My reverse hyper is right there. It's not being sold for this. But I think for home gyms, it's one of those things. If you want to do those exercises, I think this is a cool piece. Don't plan on this replacing your reverse hyper. My reverse hyper is right there. It's not being sold for this. I think for home gyms, it's one of those things. If you want to do those exercises, I think this is a cool piece. Don't plan on this replacing your reverse hyper. My reverse hyper is right there. It's not being sold for this. And I didn't even tell you why I even bought this thing. I just said 'cause I wanted to review it, but that's not really why I bought it. I can't just, I don't make any money. There's no referral. I have no referral link for this. I don't play that. I have a job. I'm not trying to make money off of YouTube. I'm not trying to, I'll take stuff for free from companies if they want to send it to me, sure. They didn't send me this for free, but I'll take it. But like, I'm not doing the referral stuff. You'll never see that stuff on my channel. I sold my GHD, my Rep GHD, because I wanted to make room for a leg press, and I could do that if I bought something like this, because I really use my GHD a lot. So I thought this could replace it. And yeah, it's doing that. Like, am I happy with the purchase? Yeah, I think it's actually really cool. I think it's a great like home gym machine, especially for like my buddies who do a lot of CrossFit and want like a GHD, but also don't have the space. I think this is nice. Man, it's pricey though. This is expensive. Like, you can just go buy a GHD for $480, brand new, delivered to your doorstep. I see them on Marketplace all the time for $300, $250 or whatever. So like, it's pricey when you start adding it all up. So that's like my big caveat, is like, it is pricey. It does do what it says. It is cool. Like, it is overhyped, it is over-marketed, it is over-advertised. It doesn't do 200 million things like the ads say, but like, it does do the things it says pretty solid. Reverse hyper, just dismiss that 100. I don't even know what that's just like, we're making up stuff it does now. Like, yeah, it holds my shirt too. Like, it holds clothes, it holds phone holder. 201 and 1 now, because it holds a phone. Like, it's just funny stuff like that. Kind of funny that they say it's like, all these things in one. But it really is like a good solid machine. So I hope you enjoyed my review. I know I went into like depth and talked a lot about a lot of stuff. So anyway, later on.